And that night, about 2 in the morning, after the party and everything is going on, I run into Rodney Knox again. And he goes, "Hey, Steve, by the way, I don't know, did you read the contract?" I'm like, "No, I didn't read the contract. I'm a lawyer. I went to law school. I don't read the contract." And, which is true, by the way. And he goes, "Well, if you read it, it tells you that you are, it's not a metaphor, you're going to Disney." And I'm like, "Oh, I don't mind that. That's okay." He goes, "Yeah, but it's," he goes, "Oh, it's 2 in the morning? Tonight. I'm in Miami. I got to go back to San Francisco for a parade. How am I going to do that?" It happened. That morning, we left at 5 in the morning, so it was 2 a.m., so by 5, I'm not much sleep. We go home, have a parade, and then I went to the airport and end up in Anaheim in front of the castle about 8 o'clock at night. And there's a parade. And I'm telling you, it was the highlight of my life. I don't know why, but it was like they had a Disneyland band. They had, and we're in California, and it's the day after the Super Bowl, and it's like, it was a parade for all the things that all the pain, all the shortness, all the issues that I dealt, all the blood, everything has all kind of come together. This moment where it's like, yes! And so down Main Street we go, the band's playing, and on the float, on the side it says Super Bowl MVP Steve Young, and on the float with me is Mickey Mouse. Right? Because if you're the big star, you're gonna be a Mickey, right? It's not Donald or something else. It's like there's one person. And so down we go, and I'm waving, and I'm hearing people say, "Steve Young, you're the man, you're the greatest, you're the king. Joe's nothing, you're the king, you're the best," you know. And so for about 4 minutes, the parade was about 4 minutes. But for 4 minutes, I lost my mind. I was yelling back to the crowd, "You're right, I am the man! I am the king! We need nothing! I'm the guy!" And then all of a sudden, the band stopped playing. And I remember when the band stopped playing, they started trying to go backstage. I'm like, no! Go on, another lap! Like, we need to lap this. We need to go again. Like, another time, you know? But no, it's over. Band stopped playing, going backstage, turning, and on the little curb, right where we're turning, 2 little kids, 6 and 8, about 4 and 6, right? You know, young. And they're waiting for this thing to, because they know, I don't care. They're like this. And the younger one looks up. Mickey Mouse. He sees Mickey Mouse right in front of him. And so he starts to charge towards the float. And there's a moment when, you're thinking so he could get hurt or something. And just as everyone's kind of worried, his older brother grabs him by the shirt and pulls it back. By the way, they're both wearing, like, you know how moms put them in the same colors, like the purple shirts and the yellow pants so they can't get lost. He grabs him by the shirt and pulls it back. So you can't get near him. The big guy won't let you. Meaning Mickey Mouse and me. In 4 minutes, I went from the king. In a flash, I'm now Mickey Mouse's bodyguard. I don't know that I yelled it or said it. I don't think I said it. I think it just went through my mind. Maybe I said it, but maybe I yelled at the kid and I said, "Hey kid, of all the times in my life that I am not Mickey Mouse's bodyguard, it is right now. And you need to appreciate it. Read the sign. Super Bowl MVP, because this has ended more quickly than I wanted to, but it's not gonna end like that." Right? But the lesson, of course, all things have a lesson, is it ends fast, but it is worth it. Dreams are worth it. My dad used to say when I was growing up, because I wanted to be Roger Staubach, and my dream was to play in the NFL. And he goes, "Steve, that's a dream. That's a dream that has less than 1% chance of happening. So I don't mind you having a dream, but you better have a plan." What's the plan? What's the 80% chance? Plan. You have a dream, cool. What's the plan? "Well, Dad, I'm going to graduate high school, and then I'll go to college, and maybe I'll go to law school like you, and then I'll get a job like you, and I don't know. That was the plan." He goes, "Okay, that's a good plan. That's a plan that you can do. I think there's 80% chance you can do that." So as I went to college and became All-American, and then going to be the first person in the draft, I remember calling my dad. I said, "Ha! So much for the dream and plan. They all came together." And he said, "Oh, really? Because you're going to play for an average career in the NFL is 3 years? And so then you're now 25, 24, 5 years old? And then what's the plan?" And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, this guy's crazy." Relax. And he goes, "No, what's the plan? Because your dream, the dream is coming true. Looks like it might come true. But what's the plan?" And I said, well, I'll probably still go to law school. And I ended up going to law school in the off season, kind of basically because of this conversation that he had with me. And gratefully, because now I've been in private equity for longer than I played football. And the second half of my life was really built off of this dream and a plan. And I remember towards the end of my career, I was running to my dad, and I said, because he's always said you have to have a dream and a plan. I said, Dad, what's your dream? And he was probably late 70s, early 70s. And he said, what's your dream? You always tell me about a dream. What's your dream? He goes, my dream? 110. I was like, 110? He goes, yeah, I want to live to 110. And that was his dream. Doesn't have to be everybody's dream, but that was his dream. Now he's 89, and I think he might make it. But I really think that there's some power in holding a dream and a plan. In fact, I think about that with my kids today. I actually tell them, okay, what's your dream and what's the plan? And have them both. Always. Like they work together in some strange, crazy way. I am grateful for a chance to share some of the truths from the field. I hope they're somewhat useful. I spent so many years getting beat up and run over, and that I love the chance to share, and I want to finish with probably my most precious story about the lesson that I learned from the great Reggie White. Reggie White was the greatest defensive player that ever played in the NFL. You might say Lawrence Taylor, you might say someone else, but I think Reggie White was the greatest. Reggie White's football card said 6'6", 340. That means that Reggie wrote down 6'6", 340. Anyone who's willing to write down 6'6", 340 is 6'7", 400. Because if you write down, if you write down 295, that means you're 350. Right? But if you write down 340, if you actually write down 340, you're 400. But he was the biggest man. He was the biggest man you've ever seen. If he was next to me, I would be like this. But he could run. He could jump. He was strong. He was not overweight. He was just a massive, elite athlete. He was the largest human athlete in the history of man. And when you were near him, you were just in awe of the athleticism. And whenever I play Reggie, you say, where is he? Who's going to block him? 4 guys got to block him. And when you drop back to pass, Reggie was loud. He was a yeller. Like some guys are quiet, some guys are yellers. And he'd scream, ah! You could hear him. You know, I'd drop back to pass, you could hear him coming. Ah! 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 And you're like, oh, here comes Reggie! I'm going down! I'm going down! And then every once in a while, he'd get there. And he'd grab me. Ah! And as he grabbed me, he would pick me up and then roll on his back and fall backwards on his back. Make sure that I didn't get hurt. And then he wouldn't let me go. He's like, hey Steve, how's it going? Actually, Reggie, not great. Reggie and I had built a friendship because we were all-stars. He University of Tennessee, I'm at BYU. We go to Hawaii. Back in the day, they had an all-star game called the Hula Bowl. We met there. And Reggie and I became very fast friends. He was an evangelical minister. He was an amazingly charismatic human being. He was a faithful human. He was friendly. He was kind. He was all of that. But he also was a fierce competitor. And when he was coming to sack me, he wasn't letting up. But the second he grabbed me, and this is what the amazing thing about this story is, he could go from that adrenaline-filled, insane environment where everything's just physical and you're screaming, everyone's yelling, 80,000 people, and I'm getting paid millions of dollars to get to the quarterback, I'm going to get him, and there's this flash of a moment, like a millisecond, that he becomes, oh, he's my friend. Hey, and because my dad helped him get his agent back in the day, his lawyer. My dad was a lawyer, he helped my dad, Reggie. They became friends. And so inevitably, a few plays later, he'd grab me and say, hey, how's your dad? You know? Half the time I thought Reggie just wanted to, like he was sacking me so we could talk. Because we haven't seen each other for a while. You know what I mean? Like, Reggie, let's talk later. I'll catch you after the game. I'll buy you Pizzas, I'll go, whatever. Just don't come see me anymore. I don't want to talk to you. Just stop, end it. But he was, and that lesson is another lesson that I leave with you. The sense that he could be an incredible competitor, but he could also be an incredible friend. And he could hold both of those at the same time. Like the ultimate athletes that I've ever met are the emotional athletes who could be strong yet vulnerable. Could be, competitor, ultimate competitor yet kind. Like these things that don't necessarily go together, they could hold them in midair and just always grab them and never let them go. And I just so appreciate Reggie's sophistication, spiritual, emotional sophistication in what he was as a human being. And I never remember, one of my favorite memories of playing is having me in Reggie's arms, like asking me questions, like, is your mom here today? No, Reggie, she didn't make it. Oh, really? How about your brother and sister? I haven't seen them forever. Just let me go, man. Just stop. But the appreciation I have for all these teammates. Reggie passed away 15 years ago. Sleep apnea. Just a tragedy. One of the great human beings alive. My time is up. Much love to you guys. Travel safe. No more gambling. It's done. Nobody say, oh, you know what, if I go one more time, I can get it back. That's what they want you to do. Don't do it, right? Just run for the doors, get on the plane, and get home safe. Much love to everybody. Thank you.